You be going through the symptoms, and you like, damn, maybe them vaccine deniers are right.
They knew.
Got a point.
Them niggas knew. The regret of anger is, it hurts a lot more than, I guess, the discipline of self-control. I think, someone actually said, what you talking about, Whoopi? like, they looked at her nuts like, yo, what the fuck you talking about? Keith said, why is no one laughing?
Yeah, it's the best material I've had in months. Y'all not appreciating the artistry here.
DJ Playboy.
What's good, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy back with another episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. You know how we do around here, man. I do no episode without my dog, my partner, my man.
Girl scream like I'm Keith.
What it do, Brethren?
What is going on, brother? What's good?
Living it, loving it, man. Life every day, something new, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. I know you had a crazy week.
Up and down with the week, man. The weather, everything, the life. But I'm blessed to be here. You know what I mean? I can't complain in the grand scheme of things. You know, life is good. So it's just, I think we were talking off pod, man. Like, it's you're getting more mature as you get better at dealing with life, unexpected shit, right? Like when it don't go as planned. And that's what this week was for me, man. I had a lot of shit not go as planned. Daughter caught the stomach bug. Matter of fact, I think I ended off the last episode saying, pray for us, because she was getting her vaccine and I was getting my booster. And I don't think you prayed for us because it was rough. But luckily it was rough for me, not so rough for her. She had got the stomach bug, I think a week after, nothing related to the vaccine. But me, when I had got my booster, 2 days later, which I didn't even know was a thing. I thought after a day or two you was in the clear. 2 days later, you know what I mean? That shit kicked my ass, bro. And it was the same day that she had caught I guess she caught the stomach bug over the weekend, but she had went to school and they called me at the school like, yo, she had diarrhea. So I'm leaving my job. I had just got to work, leaving my job, and then boom, my whole body starts hurting. I'm getting the chills. I'm hot 1 second, cold 1 second. Man, by the time I got home, I was sidelined for the entire day. And it's it is what it is, right? It's just, you just feel beat up, right? You feel like, I remember I was actually gonna make fun of you. I'm like, Keith done canceled a podcast after the day he got his booster.
Yeah.
I had the jokes ready. Then that shit kicked me in. It was kicking my ass, bro. For all my joints.
Man, that COVID vaccine, bro, that should give you Bobby Brown jaw. And it's funny because you be going through the symptoms, and you be like, damn, maybe them vaccine deniers are right.
They knew.
Got a point.
Them niggas knew. No, it's I don't know how to explain. I mean, I can imagine COVID must be rough, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's gotta, because that shit just hurts. All my joints and everything. And because the first thing it was your arm hurt, right? For me, it was felt like I got punched in the arm for at the day or two after. But I was able to deal with no problem. I was like, yo, I'm cool with that. But it was then the other shit. It was like, man, this is this is too much, man. But it is what it was. It lasted a couple hours. Then I was back to normal. Then my daughter she had to miss another day of school. We thought she was over the bug, but apparently she wasn't. So ended up having to miss a day of school. Then later in the week, my girl ended up getting COVID. So that was a bit of a unexpected phenomenon to happen. So you know what I mean? We've been adjusting with that. We've been dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? So.
Damn.
Yeah.
So when you got the vaccine, are you getting the vaccine to get back to normal? I'm wondering what your motivation is, to get back to normal, or so that you might get sick so you don't. Clearly it's both, but it's which one is it? Is it more? And I asked because the other day I'm trying to sign up for a new gym, and I took some tours, and then all of the gyms I went into, ain't nobody wearing a mask. They looking at me like, what's wrong with you?
This nigga must be sick. It's back to that, right?
Yeah.
What was my motivation for getting the booster, you're saying, or vaccine in general? Or
the vaccine in general, particularly the booster.
Okay, so I had got the Johnson & Johnson last April. And I got the booster because I was like, I don't know how long this shit lasts for. It can't last forever, right? And then they started talking boosters and everything, so I was like, all right, I should be up for it. But I guess to kind of get back to the normalcy, right? I want to go out. I want to be places. So it's at New Year's Eve DJ show, you know, if y'all don't know, that's what the dude I DJ with. He had a party on New Year's Eve, and I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just stay hydrated because it was Omicron was blowing up. It was like I didn't feel like it'd be the responsible thing to do, to go out and do that. Now, you know what I mean, if he throws a party or something next week, I probably would be there because it's like I feel a little bit protected. I'm still gonna take precautions. I'll still be in there, you know, masked up or whatever. But it's good. Add a layer of protection, I guess is the best way to say. Add a layer.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna stop
because
you can still get it, right? I don't think it'll necessarily stop me from getting it. I don't enjoy being sick. I don't enjoy being sidelined, which no one does. But it's not. I mean, I think I'm not even. I don't really get sick that much. So I think when it hits me, it hits me. You know what I mean? So yeah, to avoid that too, if that's something that could be avoided. I hate hospitals. Nobody want to be in no hospital. So I was going to avoid hospitalization. Stephen A. Smith, I believe, just got over it like a month or so ago. And he's like, I'm not telling nobody go out what to do and da-da-da-da-da. But he was like, they said if I didn't get the vaccine, I probably wouldn't be here today. And he's like, just wear your mask. He's like, that's the most I could tell you how to do. You know what I mean? Wear your mask and try to protect yourself and whatever. But I think there's some truth to that. Like, you know, some people might not be here if they didn't get that vaccine.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. It's a weird thing because you don't understand it. Like, and you know, like shout out to my girl. Like, she going through it, but it fucks with you. At first, she was like, she was weird, bro, about it. Like, she ain't want to, she thought, like, the way, because I'm like, yo, all right, boom, we can make this work for everybody. You know what I mean? There's a way to do it. Wear your mask. You know what I mean? You got to obviously quarantine in this room over here. And, you know what I mean? I will bring stuff to you and blah, 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 blah. She was kind of rebelling against it at first. like, you know, like, I think it's kind of like, you know, 7 stages of grief. Like, I think she was just like in denial. Then she felt offended. And I'm like, it's not anything to be offended by, you know, it's just, you know, motherfuckers gotta take it. But then also, like, you know, like, I get it, you know what I mean? It's a different generation, I guess, or whatever the case may be. But, like, they're a little bit weird about being the other, right? Being different, or being ostracized or something like that. Like, whereas, I guess, to me, it's like, it's an illness, right? It is what it is.
Yeah. COVID, man, that shit switching shit up.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I was low key thinking like, I wonder if that's why like you see a lot more in society, older men, you know what I mean, with like a younger wife or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't usually see older wife with younger man. It happens sometimes, but I think a little bit less. But I think because women mature, you know, a bit faster or whatever. Like, I know for this particular situation, I was finding myself getting weird. Like I was getting mad, bro. Like, and it was really messing with me. And then I had to like step back from it and be like, oh yeah, I probably was acting like that when I was her age, you know what I mean? Or I probably was thinking like that, or I probably was feeling like that. So I had a little bit more compassion for it, as opposed to, I guess maybe if I was a little bit younger, I'd probably be bugging the fuck out too. Like, you know what I mean? It would turn contentious, where I think I approach it a little bit more with some understanding, because I'm like, yeah, it sounds ridiculous and it sounds silly, but I've been the person sounding silly. I've been the person sounding ridiculous. And then I know in the moment that I just wasn't thinking clearly or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think everyone has, with the quarantine and isolation aspect of COVID, everyone has a issue with it. Whether it's, you know, you're a family, you can't see like a older family member, or someone in your house catches it, so they have to be on another section of the apartment or another section of the house or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think everyone just, those effects, and then after like, you know, a few days of having to bring food or whatever to the person's room, that gets frustrating even for the people who are not isolated. So I think the whole thing is just tearing society apart.
It tests things, man. I shout out to Idris Elba's wife. That was the first person that I knew that was like just standing right next to somebody that had it. I'm like, yeah. Shout out to her, man. She's
Idris Elba's wife, Jessica.
Pioneering this thing, man. But yeah, it's just been one of those weeks. You know what is crazy too? I think it was. I'm a spiritual person, if you can tell by listening to this podcast, and I just feel like whether I try to take the knowledge out of everything. I try to take the wisdom out of everything, and even if I get it through entertainment, I try to learn something from something. And I feel like the things that the things I've exposed myself to, audiobooks, podcasts, and certain things, there's a million billion things in the world that I could be listening to, exposing myself to, but I chose these particular things, and perhaps there's a reason that I chose them, because there's some type of lesson that may affect me in the long term, or some type of lesson that might affect me short term also that I can learn from. And it was crazy, the things I had listened to in the past week was one was a Kobe Bryant interview where he was just talking about rest in peace Kobe, like the anniversary of his death just passed, and they played an interview of his where he was just talking about after the Achilles injury, how he was just surrounded by his family, and just one of the feelings that he had after the injury was like, yo, I got to be strong for the family, right? I got to keep the strong face on. When you wouldn't even think like that. You're like, damn, this might be a career-ending injury. You might be feeling sorry for yourself. He's more so put himself in that leadership role. You know what I mean? I remember listening to that. Yeah. Or there's another book that I've been listening to by a rabbi. So it's like a book about money, but he's using like Jewish ideologies to help, I guess, non-Jewish people or even Jewish people just have better relationships with money. And it's funny because I'm a couple hours in and I'm like, when are we gonna get to the money part of this? But it's very interesting, the stuff that he's talking about. And then one of the lessons that he was teaching is more so he's teaching you how to be like he's like, yo, you want to make money, you gotta have a business and use these.
Is that The Secrets of Jewish Wealth Revealed?
Might be. Let me look it up. Let me see the exact title of it.
See, I don't be looking at titles, baby. I just get straight to the book.
It's called Thou Shalt Prosper.
Okay.
10 Commandments for Making Money by Rabbi Daniel Lapin.
The reason I asked is because I had a book, the book I just said on my reading list, and I was wondering if it's the same thing. I didn't realize there was a series of books like this. So, I
would imagine, yeah, me neither until you just said that. But no, but one of the things he was talking about was just like, as a businessman, like, don't get angry. He's like, don't allow yourself to be angry. Like, sometimes you could give off the image of anger if you think that'll inspire your employees or your subordinates or whatever, but don't necessarily let your emotion just get lost in the anger. You know what I mean? You out here just yelling, screaming, acting a damn donkey. And I thought that was very interesting. You know what I mean? Like, he's even like, yo, when you like, some people are like, yo, don't suppress your anger. If you feel it inside of you, you got to get it out. Go get it out. And he's like, no, I think that's bad advice. He's like, I think actually suppressing it makes you better at controlling it. And, you know what I mean? I guess there's arguments for both. Like, I guess if you're really going to explode, maybe you got to find some type of other outlet or whatever. But I guess anger's never healthy, right? Anger is never like there's I'm actually proud of how I handled a lot of this stuff this week, because a lot of the pressure was getting to me and I felt anger, coming. And I ain't want to like give you one of those like midnight phone calls where I'm like, yo, I'm in the parking lot right now, Keith. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been bad like that, but it wasn't. I didn't let my anger get to that, you know what I mean, fucking point. So it was just like, you feel better, right? You feel better. Like the regret of anger it hurts a lot more than, I guess, the discipline of self-control. So it's like, I think the point being is, I think the stuff that I've listened to in the past week really helped me to handle the hardships that came along with this week. All right, bro, let's get right into it. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened since last time we spoke. Something that's caught my eye was, man, there's been, I guess, a vaccine mandate is going to go down in California for next fall, requiring kids to get vaccinated before they go to school. That hasn't been passed yet, and something Governor Newsom is trying to get done on his own. But it looks like 40 California schools are trying on their own to implement vaccine mandates ahead of that mandate that will take effect next fall. 40 California school districts will soon require vaccinations for staff, students, or both. And I think that comes after, like, there's no federal mandate, right, that federal employees have to do anything. I believe that wasn't passed when Joe Biden was trying to get passed. But private businesses, I believe, can still choose to have their employees vaccinated or not. But these schools, they look like they're trying to do it on their own without any type of government mandate and be like, hey, you want to come to this school, you're going to have to get that vaccine. Now, Keith, you're a parent. Your kid's going to be school age within the next few years. How does this make you feel as a parent? And how do you think the people of California are going to react to this type of vaccine mandate?
Yeah, so I'm a fan of vaccines. It's the first opportunity that I got to get a vaccine, I jumped at it. Mm-hmm. You remember there was a line, if you over 60 first, and all depending on what state you in, if you're over 60, if you have a pre-existing condition. But as soon as it opened up for me, I went to get it. However, I'm not a huge fan of the vaccine mandates across the board. I like vaccine mandates that are limited to like key people. Mm-hmm. but there's enough. I think the vaccine mandates, once it starts mixing with the political stuff, it's in effect it starts like excluding people from stuff. Like it sounds exclusionary, you know what I'm saying? So I'm mixed on it, but on the other hand, I do get the safety stuff, but I'm not a huge fan of vaccine mandates. I'm a fan of like healthcare workers getting it, maybe even employees. But then like once you get to the students, I feel as if there's something else that you can do there.
Yeah, because like you said, but is it different than, I guess, because I believe there are certain vaccines your kid had to get anyway to go to school, right?
Right.
The difference would be that this is new. Doesn't have the years of testing, I guess, of polio, whatever. I don't know what vaccines we get. That's the thing. I don't even know what the hell they poking in the kids. Like you just like, all right, cool, doc. I guess. Like I don't. So it's like now it feels kind of weird to be like, no, I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me having an infant, I know a couple of them, like polio is the clear one, and rubella and measles and all this type of stuff. And you know what? It makes sense because. That's what I said. It's a tough one, man. Because on the other hand, when you think 40 years down the road, people are like, oh yeah, they just gonna be poking your kid. You're not even gonna know. They're like, oh, do you agree to get this, and that vaccine? They're like, yeah, I'll get it all.
Yeah, I got it when I was a kid, didn't I? That's why, you just like assume it's good. Like, but it's weird, man. I get it. You know what I mean? I did it. I for my kid. I mean, I got my kid vaccinated. I feel she's safer. If that makes sense. Like, right. You know what I mean? For some reason, I feel she's safe. I'll be honest with you. One of the main reasons I did it was the way that her after school works is they worked in pods. And if they get exposed, they shut down the whole pod. And they literally looked me in the face and was like, if she was vaccinated, it wouldn't be an issue, which makes zero sense to me. but I was like, all right, cool. Well, now you're making my life harder, right? By not having her vaccinated. I don't like having a harder life. So I'm gonna go for what, you know what I mean? Like I can't call out of work every time some kid is exposed to coronavirus. It's everywhere. You know what I mean? Like I have about like 4 main close friends. 3 out of the 4 friends have had coronavirus in the house, including myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
all right,
it's out here. I can't take off of work every time. I can't call out of work every time and lose out on money, or even just let someone else, I guess, get ahead in the game. I'm gonna do for what's more convenient. And yeah, luckily, what I'm saying, my kid's been handling it well. It's been an issue. My kid also had coronavirus too, you know what I mean? And at a certain point in time, and that sucked also, you know what I mean? I had to be isolated away from her, and I feel like if we're both vaccinated, that might not have to be an issue as much. I don't know though. Right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of.
That's the thing.
We're all this, kind of guessing.
That's the thing. How much we don't know is, I guess it's the separation I don't like that kind of contentiousness. Like, the president saying that the pandemic is now a pandemic of the unvaccinated is difficult to sell. I guess I'm looking at how difficult it is to sell. And is there another way? Like, I kind of like some of the after school stuff, like smaller groups like that. I agree with like mandates there, but like broad across the board mandates, like if you live in some tiny rural town somewhere in California, do you need to have a mandate across the board in all your schools? I just don't know. I guess I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but it makes me wonder, especially if that means those people are going to start having a cultural war against whatever. But now if you say, oh, well, there's this basketball league and then all the players or maybe all the coaches need to be vaccinated, I feel as if that's a way to get a lot of buy-in. Like, all right, well, you don't have to, but you just can't play here or you can't coach here if you're not going to be vaccinated. Because
it makes it seem like, well, you don't have to be here, right?
Right.
But in a school, what am I supposed to move to another school district? Like you're basically like kind of putting a gun in my head, like, all right, well, home educate your kid or something like that. And it's like, come on, man. But I mean, we'll see. I guess in California being a big state, I'm assuming that might cause some sort of precedence in the future. So we'll see. Another big thing that I guess seen this week that actually took its place in court was the case of Belcalis Marlenis Almanzar versus Latasha Transrena Keeb, also known as Cardi B versus Tasha K. This was...
Wait, say those two again?
They real names? I feel like I feel bad for the bailiff. Belcalis Marlenis Almanzar versus Latasha Transrena Keeb. That's Cardi B versus Tasha K. You familiar with Tasha K, Keith? She's a YouTuber.
Nope.
All right.
Not at all.
So Tasha K is this YouTuber, which I'm not sure how famous or not that she is, but apparently she was going on for a while putting out false information about Cardi B, alleging that she had herpes, that she was a abuser of cocaine, and that she was a prostitute. After receiving a cease and desist, Tasha K refused to take any of these videos down off of YouTube that she made these claims, and Cardi B was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna see you in court. And Cardi B actually won the court case of defamation, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. She was awarded a 7-figure sum in damages. I believe 1.5 million in punitive damages, 1 million for general damages such as pain and suffering or reputational injury, and $1,338,753.47 in litigation expenses. She also was awarded $250,000 in medical expenses, but somehow both parties agreed to reduce that to $25,000. I don't know if Tasha K has that much money. I know YouTube could be lucrative, but I don't know her. I don't think she's Jake Paul levels of YouTube quite yet. And I just don't understand. Why didn't you just take the videos down? That's the part I'm not getting, bro. But people think they could just say anything online, and we talk, right? We're here. We're talking about people. I try not to give any false information. I try to do my research on stuff because, this shit's on the internet. It'll live forever. You know what I mean? So if I could correct myself, I do. And even if in a later episode I could correct something, I try to also. But if I knew something was wrong, I wouldn't want it out there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I bet. Take it down. Was not doing me any favors to do good, but I don't know. Maybe Tasha K got the money to fight this because this is wild. Oh, I know. Cardi B was definitely trying to destroy it, but Cardi B also gave her a chance to live, right? She was like, yo, take it down. Like, why would you? It's sometimes I think people just get bad advice, and I don't know if Tasha K got bad advice from a lawyer or something like that, but it's just like, yo, why wouldn't you? It just seems like an easy. You already got the hitch that you needed from it. You know what I'm saying? You already got the clicks. Your name probably is famous, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't. It just you can't you can't make shit up. Like, that's the one thing you really can't do. Like, you have a responsibility on these mics. If you're going to entertain people and you're going to live off of clicks and subs and all that type of stuff, tell the truth. And the funny thing about it, the truth is mad entertaining. Like, these people make asses out of themselves every day. Every day, bro. Like, if we wanted to do a daily podcast, we could. Like, it's not hard to find somebody, you know what I'm saying, making an ass out of themselves and talking about it. So it's like, why do you have to make some shit up about somebody? That's nuts. All right, Keith, we running a little tight on time, man, so we gonna switch things up to my favorite segment. I think it's yours too, man. It's called Have You Heard?
Keep connected.
I got a quest. Now the question I ask you is how bad you want to know that.
I hear certain headlines and I bring them to the table to see if my dog Keith has heard. First up, man. Apparently ASAP Rocky and Rihanna are pregnant. You heard about that?
Yeah. It's impossible not to hear about it, man. That's like if you heard Barack and Michelle had another kid level.
They got a show, I heard.
Oh yeah.
No, what is it? No,
not
Netflix.
crazy.
Netflix, I think. Yeah, they got a Netflix deal. Yeah.
Oh, well, you said they got a show. You mean like a show, like some oval table talk type shit?
I think they got a production deal. I think they're producing shows.
Oh yeah, they got Higher Ground Productions. They
Yeah.
had some movie that was nominated. I don't know if it was for some documentary, and then they got a couple kid shows with their production deal.
Okay, yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. I don't know about them having their own, but I know they're making that money. They making that Meghan Harry money. But yeah, Rihanna and ASAP pregnant. Congrats,
Crazy, man. Hell yeah. It was funny. Is a lot of dudes. I think it's kind of like when Beyonce first got pregnant. A lot of dudes, because there's like a fantasy like Rihanna's my girlfriend, Beyonce's my girlfriend, like that kind of like my play girlfriend in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like we go on dates to the museum and we have ice cream after and shit like that. And you see that in real life that she had, she has a life partner and they about to have a kid together. It's like, oh man, that was supposed to be me.
Hurry up.
Yeah, but that's crazy, man. That's an amazing thing.
Shout out to them, yeah. Shout out to Rihanna, ASAP. You know what I mean? They look happy together. Rihanna's like our age, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So about that, maybe a year or two younger.
Yeah. Shout out to them, man. That's doing the big. I like the little the way they announced it. They took those pictures. I mean, I'm sure Rihanna was cold because we was in New York City a couple weeks ago. We was freezing our ass off with bubble coats on. She out here
she had her belly
just letting the belly
out.
Word up.
Yeah.
I was cold for her.
Right there on Broadway, man. Broad day on Broadway.
And that wasn't paparazzi pictures, was it? It was because all the pictures I seen was just the same. Maybe it was paparazzi because I feel like all the pictures I seen was the same picture though. So I don't know if they had like a photographer and they just was like, all right, here's the pictures. Like we just.
I think they had a photographer. Maybe they did something quick and they didn't do a whole bunch of multiple locations. Yeah, it looks like it was just like one location, one quick shoot. I mean, from what I seen, after I observed it very closely, they didn't have like outfit changes and all that.
No, nothing, no wild. But I like the way that she took control of her announcement. Like people, it was in the rumor mill, but she was like, all right, I'm gonna take control of it because even though you're a celebrity, that's still a monumental point in your life. You know what I mean? That you see girls do get to experience on social media all the time. So that's dope that she gets to announce it.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone else who got an announcement stole from them was your man Tom Brady. Keith, have you heard? Tom Brady has retired from football.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, it took control of all my daytime sports commentating, watching. Like the entire joint. Like I was just, you know what I'm saying? There's like 5 shows on in the daytime that I like to just tune into for a couple of minutes, a few minutes in the daytime, and the entire thing was Tom Brady retirement. But definitely, man, the GOAT. He retired, and but there was that controversy. They announced his retirement before he announced it.
Yeah, he was tight about that, right?
He never decided at that point. So he says that he would retire. He probably decided it, but it probably was somebody leaked it.
Yeah, it was Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter came early with it, and I think he was tight about that because they said it came through his partner. Through Tom's TB12 partner. So motherfuckers be talking, and I think sometimes they don't realize. Or I guess maybe they be like, yo, Shefty would have respect, I guess. Like, yo, like it's a scoop, but dog, come on. And then Adam Schefter's like, yo, I ain't the only person that, if you tell it to me, you might say it to somebody else, you know what I mean? He's like, so I guess he trying to do his thing to protect his job. And, Tom's just his collateral damage, I guess, in that. But Tom deserved better. Tom did a lot for this league. That was a great last game, right? You seen it, right? When he played against, was it the Rams?
The Rams, yeah,
that was
almost won. Almost went to the NFC Championship, and probably would have went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and you can't get mad. Like that's team sports, right? Like you could do everything you could do, and then your team, which the year before, the defense was helping them, right? You know what I'm saying? When he was slipped up a little bit. So it happens, but Tom will be missed. That's a GOAT right there. I ain't gonna lie, if he came back another year, I think he's on steroids now. I think him, LeBron James, all that is on steroids. So if he came back another year, I'd be like, come on now. Come on. Yeah. But man, shout out to Tom. You will be missed, man. The Giants did get you twice though.
Yeah. And shout out to Adam Schefter, man. He did get it right. And the crazy thing about it, so Adam Schefter, his job is to pretty much get like the news that doesn't get publicly announced, like get it early and announce it to people. So he has friends on the inside, but they're like friends, and somehow they remain friends even after he kind of spills the beans. Like his job is to spill the beans. Yeah. And I've had friends that we not friends no more because they told somebody where I was at. Like they were like, "Oh, where Keith at? Oh, he's at the barbershop." I'm like, "Why you told them I was at the barbershop? We over." Like, but Adam Schefter tells like some real shit.
Could have got me jumped.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Now, I think Adam Schefter throws money around though. I think Woj. I think they throw money around to people. I can't imagine. Why else would you? You know what I mean? Why would you betray someone else's trust to Woj or Adam Schefter? I think ESPN gives them money to throw around.
Yeah.
I'm guessing though. I'm speculating. I don't know. You wouldn't be invited back to my barbecue after that. I'd be like, nah, chefy.
Nah. I think they know at this point, people are media savvy enough to know the deal. So I think they say because, I don't know, I think they say because that individual doesn't have anything to lose per se, or they don't think they have anything to lose. So homie probably told Schefter, assuming that, you know, Tom made a decision to retire. So whatever, it's out there.
Also, maybe he thinks like if Adam Schefter leaks it, it's not ruining it for Tom. He still can do the announcement. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, yo, it's just an early confirmation. Like, this might happen. This looks like it's on the horizon, blah, blah, blah. Keith, have you heard Whoopi Goldberg has been suspended from The View?
Yeah. I think she made some comments on the Holocaust. What was it? Like a Holocaust wasn't a racial thing? Like it was just
you've heard
something else?
You heard of the book Mouse, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I want to say Tennessee. I got to double check that one. But there's a school board. Yep, Tennessee school board. They removed Mouse from their reading list for I think middle schools, saying that it had bad language and nudity in it. And that's what their discussion was about. And it was like, nah, you're trying to stop that because that book's about the Holocaust. Like, you know what I mean? And you're not trying to teach about the Holocaust. Now the thing with Whoopi, right, is Whoopi made a dumb comment, right? Whoopi said, let me tell you if I can find the exact comment that she said. So she said, as they're talking about the book Mouse and they're talking about it, and I think something that she said early in the conversation, she's like, I'm surprised that what made you uncomfortable, the fact that there was some nudity. It's about the Holocaust, the killing of 6 million people, and you get upset about nudity. So she's defending the book. She thinks the book should be allowed for kids to be read. But what she said is, later in the conversation is, if you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race, right? And when she said that, everyone kind of froze, like, what you mean, Whoopi? Like, I think, someone actually said, what you talking about, Whoopi? They looked at her nuts like, yo, what the fuck you talking about? I think I get what she's trying to say. She was like, it's about man's inhumanity to man, right? She was like, it's not about necessarily. I don't want to misquote her. She's like, because Ana Navarro looked at her and like, yo, it was about white supremacy after going after Jews and Gypsies and Roma, two white groups of, Goldberg responded, those are two white groups of people. The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. And which is important that she was referring to their conversation. She said it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. It's a problem. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, because black, white, Jews, everybody was affected. So I think the problem that she got, the main comment she got in trouble for was, if you're going to do this, and let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. Now, it's funny, it's kind of, we've spoken about Kanye. Let y'all behind the curtain. We had some recording issues on this episode, so I don't even know if y'all gonna hear the Kanye part that we talked about. But back to the Kanye part that we were saying earlier is like, sometimes I understand Kanye, and I feel bad because I feel like I'm the only one that understood what he just said. He says something like, and he goes on a dumb rant. I'm like, I think I know what he was trying to say there. And I think that's what's happening with Whoopi. I think I know what she was trying to say here. Like, let's remove the race from it, because once we start to talk about race, people get angry. People get emotional and they stop listening. So I think she was trying to say for a second, let's remove the race from it. Why she said it in such a weird way that was incorrect, I don't know. And once again, she does the same thing we do. We're in front of a microphone. She's up in front of a microphone way more than we are, 5 days a week. So you're going to say dumb stuff sometimes. It's going to come out incorrectly. You're not going to be able to express your ideas because you're working on a producer's, the segment is for this amount of time. Then we got a commercial break that we got to fit in here. Then we got to come back and we got to have a chef come on here and do some stuff. So you only got a certain amount of time. She wasn't able to express it the way she wanted to. Now, what happens is she got suspended. I disagree with the suspension. I think the best thing would have been have another conversation to show Whoopi Goldberg why what she said was wrong. But I think what happened was she doubled down on it, and she was trying to explain it more, because she wasn't trying to be racist, but it's always the double down that I think kills you. And she caught a 2-week suspension for it. And it's like, I know it sucks, because as a person who talks, I would be so mad if I wanted to say something and it was being interpreted as something else. It's like when you try to argue with your girl, you're like, no, you're taking my words and turning them into something else. And it's like, you know what I mean? I know how frustrating that could be. So, but I'm just feel like we on this cancel shit where we canceling everybody instead of educating people, bro.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's just the world we live in, and Whoopi has to be aware of stuff like that. And as soon as certain words come up, you have to be very delicate with how you talk about it. You know, the Holocaust was a serious thing. You know, we're in sensitive times, and you have to be more thoughtful when you talk. So I think Whoopi's sitting somewhere like, yeah, you know, that's about right. It's 2022. This is what I said. You know, a 2 week suspension. I could take that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I doubt Whoopi probably likes her job. She reports to the same place every day. She probably doesn't want to be talking to her agent every day. Like, all right, who wants me in a movie? She just likes her. She's there. She knows where she's going to be at on Monday. She knows where she's going to be at on Tuesday.
She gets to smoke pot on set, I believe.
Yeah, all that stuff. So, it reminds me of, like, you know, there's this lawsuit in the NFL where this guy is accusing, like, team owners of racist hiring practices and stuff. And on all the sports networks, the sports journalists are talking about it. You know, it'll be Stephen A. Smith, who is black, and it'll be the next person who is black. Then there's one white guy who they have on the panel. And you can see the dude, like, just ready. Like, he's like, all right, man, I'm not fucking this up. I'm going to just say 2 sentences and keep my answer to about 180 characters, and I'm just stop. You know what I'm saying?
Because he will get roasted if it gets out of line. It'll get roasted.
Yeah.
With the Whoopi thing, it's like, and I think a lot of people have to understand, because Nick Cannon got himself in this trouble about a year or so ago also. It's like, Jewish people, from what I understand, right? I think I'm blessed. I had a Jewish 4th grade teacher that taught me about the Holocaust in 4th grade. And then my 5th grade teacher was like this super Afrocentric, like just smart black woman that just taught us everything about, like, Egypt and the stuff you don't learn about Africa, right? In school. Like I learned that at 4th and 5th grade, so I had a different outlook on the world. But there's this, if I would have just been in another class, right? If my name got chosen out of hat and I was in a different class, I might be one of these ignorant people who don't believe in the Holocaust. Like, yo, that didn't happen. They didn't teach me about that in school. You know what I mean? So there's that ignorance that already exists about the Holocaust because it's not being taught everywhere like it should be. And then there's 2, is like, in the Jewish community, from what I understand, is like, after the Holocaust, there's a thing that they believe is like, never again, bro. We ain't never letting this happen again. And the second you start talking any type of rhetoric close to Mein Kampf, close to, which is Hitler's book, close to Nazi ideology, it could, like, you're not even leaning that way, but it's similar to the terms that they use. It's similar to that type of language. They pounce on that because they're like, yo, we're not playing that game again, bro. We're not letting, if we let that slide, then we're gonna let another thing, you know what I mean? So they pounce on it, and you got to realize you kind of are walking on eggshells because, one, there's a lot of Jewish people within the entertainment industry, right? So you're offending the people that you're working with, one. And then 2, it's like, some of them are in positions of power. You know what I mean? So it's like you
right.
You would tread lightly anyway, right? You wouldn't talk about whatever race your boss is because you don't want to offend your boss. You don't want him to, you know, have some type of retaliation towards you. And that has to be something that's, I think, is a little bit more universally known, is like, yo, they are going to have a level of sensitivity the same way, similar to that example you just used about African Americans are going to have when you bring up race in a topic or a story that has race, black people and white people involved in it. They're going to that. You know, it's like when someone says, yeah, that black dude, you turn your head. Like, what you mean that black dude? Say it differently. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's that kind of like sensitivity that exists. And yeah, unfortunately, you know, Whoopi found herself on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, and I think in general, I think particularly with the Holocaust, even before all the cancel culture stuff, that people should always be careful of trying to draw any analogy from the
anything,
Holocaust to anything else, because I've rarely ever heard someone successfully do it. Like, ever. I've never heard anyone successfully do it. Like, people love comparing bad people to Hitler. Like, Hitler was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be, oh, Trump is Hitler. Remember, doesn't Trump remind you of somebody? Hitler. And then people automatically, doesn't even matter what your politics are. It's like, all right, brother, I know, like, I'm not even listening to you no more. So when you say, oh, well, the race and Holocaust, like race is emblematic of other tragedies. So to put race and Holocaust together is like, it's just not right, and you shouldn't do it, and it won't end well.
Because, like you said, it's got like a 3% success rate. And I can't even think of an example where it does. Like,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, I can think of an example, right, where a Trump supporter, right, was saying that we are being treated like the way, like at the beginning of the Holocaust, like the type of terminology used to describe us is the type of things that was used at the beginning of the Holocaust to describe Jewish people, right? So she was actually like, you know how like a lot of people when they bring up Trump, like Nazi, they're on the other side of it, right? They're like, yo, Trump is trying to do. She was more so saying, as a Trump supporter, I'm more so on the other side of the Holocaust of it, right? And that bitch got roasted for that. Yeah. I believe she was an actor on The Mandalorian and got fired for that shit. And it's like, yo, it's a terrible example. Don't even use, like Kanye using a slavery example. It ain't gonna work. Kanye has never used a slave metaphor that worked. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, man. Like, I remember Kanye saying we a slave to fashion, or we a slave. I was like, oh man, like you don't understand. We weren't tied to fashion for 400 years in such a way that it set people back in every part of society. So the same thing with the Holocaust. Like there's no analogy, or there's very few analogies that you could make that to say that, oh, well, this many hundreds of thousands of people were murdered, sometimes all at once. You know what I'm saying? Like you just can't draw any zero kind of analogy to it. So I think Whoopi didn't realize that. She tried, and that's some shit you try when it's just you and your two homies and having a coffee or a cocktail or something. You don't do that on television, and especially if you haven't carefully drafted out your lines of logic beforehand. You can't try to do that on air.
And also, if a Holocaust analogy existed that could work, Dave Chappelle would have done it already.
Yeah, well, I would argue that Dave Chappelle barely cares, but he's probably working on that shit right now.
Keith, before we wrap it up, because I know the answer to this one, you have heard it because you brought it up, but have you heard Brian Flores has brought a lawsuit against the NFL stating that he was incentivized to lose games. He was pressure put on him by his team owner to improperly recruit players, and that he has been on a few sham interviews throughout his career in the NFL. He's included 3 teams: the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Broncos. This comes after a text exchange with Bill Belichick revealed that the Giants had already choose Brian DeBole instead of Brian Flores. And I think Bill Belichick maybe on purpose or maybe not thought he was texting Brian DeBole, but was actually texting Brian Flores.
I have heard about it. I just mentioned a little bit about it. Brian Flores is a black coach. Just got fired from Miami after actually doing pretty well.
I thought so. I was surprised he got fired.
Losing like a lot. I think everyone did. Like everyone was looking like Brian Flores ain't getting fired. In fact, he's going places. Like what he did with them. I think like the second half of the season, it's like he was just winning. He was doing good with
but it makes sense now, right? Because like Stephen Ross apparently had beef with him. Like Stephen Ross was trying to get him to tamper with Tom Brady to recruit him over to Miami because they had worked together at the Patriots before that, and it also incentivized him to lose games, both which he refused to do. And I think he claims after that point he was now on Stephen Ross's shit list.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't know the nuanced details of this case. I know that the high level accusations. I'll tell you one thing I do know. That text exchange between him and Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, that shit was hilarious. Because the other dude's name is Brian, right?
Yeah, it's Brian DeBole and Brian Flores.
Yeah, so he said he meant to text Brian DeBole, the white guy, but he accidentally texted Brian Flores, the black guy who was interviewing for the same job. He said, "Congratulations, bro! Like, you got the job, baby."
He didn't even interview yet.
Right. All right, he didn't interview yet, right? Like, that's crazy. Like, congratulations, you got the job. He's probably like, wait, what? Like, is that easy? Well, I did do pretty good. But he's like, hold up. I didn't even interview. Like, what's good? Then they kept talking. He's like, Brian Flores, like, did you mean to text the other Brian? He's like, oh, shit, bro. Oh, man.
Yo. And this shit is hilarious, too. Because if you look at it, he does it. He's like, yo, he said, Coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian DeBoll? Just making sure. Bill Belichick took a while to answer because you know how when you don't answer right away, it makes a timestamp.
Yeah.
And so like the timestamp doesn't pop up again until 4:51. This conversation had started at about 2:30. So Bill Belichick is sitting there like for hours like, damn, how do I respond to this?
He called up his front office, bro. I know somebody on his level doesn't go forward unless they got some kind of legal representation or some shit. Like he sent the whole shit. He gave the phone to the team lawyer and said, what do I do?
What do I do? Destroy it like last time.
Yeah, man, that shit, the concept of that shit is just, I mean, as unfortunate as the circumstances are, like the concept of that shit is hilarious. I remember one time I texted my manager, like probably like 3 texts thinking I'm texting y'all. And it was so crazy. It was so crazy. And I realized what was, and then I went, I put the phone down and came back to text y'all again. I didn't see the text that I sent y'all because I didn't send it to y'all. So I was like, oh, who did I send this to? And it was my manager at the time. I was like, oh, man, I had to apologize. I meant to text my friends.
Keith said, why is no one laughing?
Yeah, I was like, it's the best material I've had in months. Y'all not appreciating the artistry here.
Fuck y'all niggas, man. You heard about the Daniel Snyder shit, right? Over in have you heard, man? Daniel Snyder got himself back in hot water. Two, I guess it's kind of wild, bro. Like one, they changed the name of the team, right? They went from Redskins, they got rid of Redskins, they were the Washington football team.
That's the owner of the football team in DC.
Yes, sir. Yep, he's the owner of the team now known as the Washington Commanders. Yeah, he apparently, I guess a couple of young ladies that worked for him went and had a conversation with Congress, a congressional committee, and Tiffany Johnson, a former marketing and events coordinator. I believe she's a former cheerleader too, but I got to double check that. She said that Dan Snyder put his hand on her thigh underneath a table and then also tried to aggressively push her towards his limo. And the only reason he stopped was because his lawyer advised him against it. This is coming out as a lot of women are accusing Daniel Snyder and the NFL of taking lewd pictures of girls at a photo shoot and spreading them around the NFL. Also, along with other issues of sexual harassment within the Washington franchise. And now we've come to find out also that information from the internal investigation of the NFL actually can't even be released without Daniel Snyder's permission because of a deal that they originally cut to investigate him. So like a lot of those girls are feeling like mad deceived. Like why do we participate in an investigation that won't even go public because Daniel Snyder won't allow it to? There's some funny shit going on over there, bro.
That's crazy, man. How old do you think Dan Snyder is? About 50, 60, older? Yeah, I don't even know him. I've never seen him before.
50 something. I'm gonna look it up though.
And the reason I ask is because there's a generation of dudes with a lot of power that I feel as if it's...
He's 57.
Okay, so it's gonna be some years before they're kind of not, I don't want to use the word purged as if somebody's just, some committee's going to go purge them, but like they'll phase out and finally they'll be like, or at least the hope is that there'll be a generation of dudes where it's just not as much dirt on them, or at least not crazy dirt. Because now when you look at some of these things and some people's past come out, you're like, man, your favorite high-powered guy probably got some kind of dirt on them, right? Because after Bill Cosby, you're just like, all right, everybody probably got dirt on them. Like, whoa, Jesus Christ. Like, Cuomo, a lot of people that people love. And Dan Snyder, I mean, I don't know how many people love him. Like I said, enough. This dude owns a team.
This dude got some major $4 billion. He powerful. Yeah, he powerful. Yeah. That $4 billion, probably, he it's going to be hard to get that team from him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he's a douche, but I guess money's power in this situation. I mean, and obviously not in all cases, right? They were able to get what's your man and Daniel was not Sterling. What was his name? I forgot his name.
Don Sterling.
Don Sterling. Yeah. They was able to get him out of the way for the Clippers. Yeah. But he also profited off of that. Crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's, you know what I mean? So money is power, man. It is what it is. And the NFL, y'all gonna have to clean this shit up though. Cause the funny thing is, y'all treating black people funny. Y'all treating women funny. Guess what y'all workforce is? The motherfuckers on the field and them women on the sideline. So you gonna reach a point where you start offending your workforce, and they gonna be like, fuck you. The only thing right now is y'all got no competition. They got nowhere else to go. So, but that's gonna reach a point where, you know what I mean, you piss off your people enough, you know, motherfuckers at the top gonna have to fall, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's crazy.
But Keith, man, that's another episode in the books, brother. You know, as always, man, where can my people find you at on social media, man?
Instagram, emo_35.
Nice. You can find your boy DJ Playboy on Instagram at Plickapeezy, PLICCAPEEZY. You can also find Perfect Talk Podcast on Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio. So go follow, you know, hop in the DMs, let us know what you think, like a picture, you know how we do. Also, you can find every episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast on our website, www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. Every episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast, my radio show, The Night Shift, and my other radio show I do with my brother DJ Show, Money Talks Radio, available right there. Every episode of Perfect Talk Podcast is also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever your local podcasts are sold. Or, you know what I mean, make sure you leave a rating, review, a like, whatever they do on there, you know what I mean, leave that for your peoples. We also on YouTube, man. Go check us out on YouTube. Search us on there, you know what I mean? We got our episodes up, so show some love, man. Keith, who you got in the Super Bowl, brother? The Rams or the Bengals?
This is a really even one. I know that the Rams got the edge, but the Bengals are sneaky. But I would like the Rams to win. And mostly it's not because I care anything about Los Angeles or the Rams franchise, but more so that I'd like to see Matthew Stafford win a Super Bowl. Like, this dude is nice. Or, you know, nice for his age, but just even when he was younger, the dude was nice. But he was like trapped in Detroit. It was like some old sentence or some shit. Like they said, yeah, you have to do 5 to 10 years in Detroit before being released into the custody of Los Angeles or some shit like that.
Yo, you know it's funny you say that? Like, cause think about it, right? How the niggas leave Detroit usually? They retired out, right? Megatron, Barry, they retired out. They died there. But what happens to the niggas who lived it, who finished out their contracts? Sue, what happened? Super Bowl ring. Yep. Super Bowl ring over in Tampa. You know what I mean? Matthew Stafford might keep that trend going. If you ride it out through the whack shit, you might have a ring waiting for you afterwards. You know what I mean?
Over a decade with the whack shit.
We're getting hit, you know, fucked up O-line. You just get knocked all over the place. You're like, damn, is it worth it? What am I playing for 3-win seasons? What am I doing this? I mean, you get millions of dollars, but still, you know what I mean? You might not remember your kids' names after a while. I hope he wins. Odell Beckham too. Odell Beckham, you know what I mean? Like, this will turn the narrative around about Odell Beckham. You know what I mean? He's not number one, right? But he seems cool with not being number. Like, he knows Cooper's nice. He knows Cup is nice, you know what I mean? And he's like, yo, if y'all doubling Cooper, that leave me open. He's like, so he ain't making no noise. He doing what he got to do. So I hope Odell Beckham wins one, man. I was a fan of the Rams. I used to listen to a lot of LA radio, especially during their first Super Bowl run. So I'd like to see my man Aaron Donald win one also. That'd be pretty dope. And then Snoop gonna be there, Dre gonna be there, Kendrick, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You know how sometimes like different facts enter your mind and you create memories? And I feel like Odell Beckham, it makes you feel as if he won one. You know the Giants won 2 Super Bowls, so Odell got one of them, right? And you're like, no, it's weird. Like, and I'm not the only one who feels this way. It's like, yeah, Odell got a chip. Like, he won one of them shits with Eli, and
because Eli got 2, so you figure, I didn't even think about that because the Eli thing. You started like, yo, he did play with Eli, right? Yeah, like Victor Cruz, but does Victor Cruz have one? No, I don't think so, right?
I don't see. Yeah, exactly. Like he probably doesn't, but it's like, yo, Victor Cruz and what's his face, Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, they won one with Eli. Like, nah, they didn't. Like, it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, nah, it's gonna be dope to see. It's gonna be one of the first Super Bowls actually that I'm gonna be able to watch live. So it's gonna be dope. I'm looking forward to it, man. What you watching nowadays on TV, bro?
Oh man, I just watched this documentary on Bill Cosby. We need to talk about Cosby on Showtime, and I think it's pretty good. Like, it's not like, in my opinion, it ain't no super duper award winning documentary, but I think it's the best documentary that could be made right now because Cosby's about 80. A lot of his contemporaries either weren't willing to talk or aren't able to speak on it, and but I think the cool thing it did was show a lot of the good things Cosby did, because that's the conflict with talking about this whole thing. Either people say 100% pure monster, pure rapist, or this dude 100% helped black people. I don't know about the rest of the stuff. It hasn't been proven. But this one does its best to do both. Like, look, check out this dude's career, check out what he did for the culture, check out X, Y, and Z. But look at all this evidence. This dude got it in for like with this spike in women's drink. He's been doing it for something. Let's see, I'm trying to do the math. Like something like 60 years, 50, 60 years. He was doing that shit. He did that shit, and this is not just when he was a young man, 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s. This dude was doing. I think he did it as recent as the early 2000s. Oh,
he's that young girl, right? That was the one that got him caught up at Temple, right? Wasn't it?
I don't even know which, but the
right?
one he actually went to court for. The one he got convicted for.
Okay.
Because it was recent enough for him to stand trial for it.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's your limitation. Yep. No, but doesn't that more, as you get older, right? And you look at historical figures, isn't that more of a, don't we kind of realize that these people that we thought were great, they're not great 24 hours a day. They got some fucked up moments. So they, you know what I mean? Like Gandhi slept with, you know what I mean? Like younger children. Now we don't know what he did with them, but it was weird, right? Like no one brings that up, but it's like, yo, you did something weird. Like Martin Luther King, you know, there's rumors of infidelity towards his wife, you know what I mean? But does that mean he wasn't a great man? That doesn't even mean he wasn't a great husband. It's just like sometimes life is more dimensions, right? Like, so then it's like, yeah, you're great for this. You're known for this. You're exalted for this. But in reality, it's actually more believable that you got some fucked up shit about you in there.
Yeah, man. And the only perfect dude, not perfect, but basically what I'm saying is that I think people are praying that Obama didn't do anything. Like, people are praying for Obama. And I think is that nothing weird comes out. And you know what? Like, after some years, it's like compound interest in an investment or some shit. Sometimes stuff that, I don't want to call it normal, but stuff that's that wasn't unusual comes back. Oh, it might have been something weird, like Obama ditched a date and left her with a check, and that shit comes out, and it's like, oh, this dude is wilding, man. Me too.
Yeah, but it's right. Like, it's something eventually. He has two daughters. You know what I'm saying? Like in 2020, I think, what is it, Sasha or one of them, Malia, had a City Girl video go viral. It's like, y'all hoping, like y'all want something bad, but it's like, it's kind of, it's life. He can't control what other people do. You know what I mean? We might find some fucked up shit about Obama, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's more, it make you more human to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It make you more, now if it's some wild shit, you fucking kids doing some crazy shit, yeah, it's like you're a scumbag. But it's like, like you said, something like he stood up, maybe he like ghosted a chick. And she was really like butthurt over that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, in her eyes, he's the scum of the earth. But it's like, yo, he's a human being. We ain't all, you know what I'm saying? I'm here podcasting. Y'all know me as the DJ and podcaster, but it's like something outside of this, I could be a fucked up person. It's just, but this is what I choose to show you. You know what I'm saying?
But to completely separate Obama from Cosby, because they don't need to be in the same paragraph, right? That's just where the conversation went. But back to like Cosby, I think people seeing what he meant to the culture, people denied a lot of the what he did, because like, yo, I refuse to believe that this guy also did these other things, which is much worse than these other people you mentioned, King and Obama and stuff like that. This is a completely different stratosphere. And I think that, I think people wanted that perfect guy.
Didn't Dave Chappelle have like, speak on that a little bit? Like Bill Cosby put up the money for the sound system of like some famous speech or something like that for civil rights. Am I tripping?
Yeah. I read that it's questionable if that's true, but the essence of what he was saying, I get what he was saying. Like, he did tremendous things. Like, for instance, like he worked on a show in the 60s or early 70s or something like that. And that's when he was really getting put on, a show called I Spy. And he looked around and said, yo, this white dude's getting painted black to be stunt. Because it was like an action show. It was like a cop show or whatever. And they did stunts. And the stunt men were white and they were painting themselves black to do the stunts for black characters, the black star or him. Even, I think and then there was a woman on there who said, like, for instance, one of the old James Bonds, like from the 60s or 70s, like a white dude painted black did the stunts for this woman that was in, Bond always has a love interest. This one particular one, she was black, and they was doing a stunt. It was a white dude in a wig. It was crazy. It looked crazy. They slowed the video down. It looked insane, son. It was insane. It was a white dude in a dress with a big curly wig on. Oh, man. But the point is that Cosby said, yo, I want black stuntmen. You telling me in this whole town there's no black stuntman? I ain't working if I don't get a black stuntman because this shit looks wild. And from there, they said he put a spark in like the industry for black stuntmen.
Nice. Yeah. No, it's a dimensional thing. Like, I think if you look at the whole spectrum of a lot of people in history, there's going to be shit that we can cancel them for, and there's going to be shit that we would exalt them for. And unfortunately for Bill, his cancelable shit might outweigh the good shit, man.
It was extreme because now, and that's the thing with nowadays, we have these labels for stuff like cancel and Me Too and all that type of stuff. And then under that umbrella is a whole lot of shit that there's Bill Cosby, but then there's like Bill Cosby's not the same as Kevin Hart saying weird shit on Twitter. Right, but with all that is under the cancel umbrella, and Kevin Hart didn't even get canceled. But when we talk about cancel, we tend throughout the history of cancellation, both of these instances were spoken of, the Kevin Hart thing and the Bill Cosby thing, but they don't deserve to be under that same umbrella.
Gotcha. Where was that documentary available?
Showtime.
Showtime. Check that out. I heard the Janet Jackson. I haven't checked it out, but I heard Janet Jackson has one on A&E that was pretty good too.
Yeah, if you could get a friend's password for Showtime, because honestly, let's face it, who's subscribing to Showtime?
A little crazy, man. Oh, shout out to Victor Cruz though. I just looked it up. He did win the Super Bowl, man. Put some respect on his name, man.
Oh, he did. Look at that, man. See, like that shit be fuzzy. That's crazy.
But yeah, man, always a pleasure doing an episode with you, Keith, man. Peace and love. Stay safe out there. Everybody stay healthy. Wear your mask. Do what you got to do to protect yourself. And say goodbye to the people, brother.
Peace.
Peace.